Today, we're talking about hardware, software, and the story that brings them together. Imagine a trumpet sitting up on a shelf. It could be a vintage horn worth thousands, or a not-so-shiny student model. But here's the thing. In the hands of a world-class musician, either one can stir an audience. The trumpet holds the potential, but the player brings it to life. And in video, that life is the story. I actually grew up playing trumpet. When I first started, I borrowed a horn from the school, but as I got older, it was time to invest in my own horn. My dad and I found one for $200 in a newspaper ad. That was the best we could afford back then. It wasn't fancy, but I'll tell you this, walking into band practice with a case that was mine, not borrowed, really felt different. I took care of that horn. I cleaned it, I polished it, made sure the valves worked. Because it wasn't just a trumpet, it was my trumpet. And it taught me something early on. It's not about how shiny or expensive the instrument is, it's about learning how to make it sing. That's such a contrast to what I see in the video world today. So many creatives keep chasing gear. Newest camera, latest light, sharpest monitor. There's always a pull to think, if I just had that, then I'd finally be good enough. Then I'd finally be noticed. Then I'd finally land those higher paying jobs. And I get it. I've felt that too. The ads are everywhere. The influencers are unboxing the latest gear. It's easy to think your next breakthrough will come from buying something new. Now, I'm not saying don't buy the gear you need to compete. We all need tools we can rely on. But here's the key. Make sure you're also investing in the software, your ideas, your instincts, your storytelling. That's what taps into the full potential of your hardware. Because the hardware serves the story, not the other way around. If you've ever sat in on a recording session, you know what I mean. Musicians pull out horns they've had for years, trumpets and saxes that have been with them from gig to gig. They know every nuance, how that horn breathes, how it sounds, how to coax the best out of it. They're not trading horns every 6 months because something new just dropped. They stay with what they trust, what they know works. Sometimes they'll add a second horn, a vintage model with a certain tone and presence they're after. Something you can't buy straight out of the box. That instrument becomes part of them too. And it's the same with video. Our cameras, lights, and mics, that's the hardware. It gives us potential. But it's our creative software that brings it all to life. Story mapping, shaping interviews, editing with rhythm and emotion. That's what elevates a project. I've seen crews with modest gear wow clients because their creative software was strong. And I've seen big productions with top-shelf rigs fall flat because there was no life, no story. In fact, in my book, I tell the story of Jeremy Cowart. If you don't know Jeremy, he's a world-class photographer today, shooting for high-end clients, creating projects that have been seen around the world. But when he first started competing for those same clients, everything was different. He didn't have the budget for high-end cameras. While other photographers were rolling in with the latest gear, Jeremy was working with a 3-megapixel camera. On paper, he shouldn't have had a chance, but his photos told the story better. His work connected, and because of that, he beat out other photographers who had far more expensive gear. And that's the lesson. Clients don't care about the specs, they care about the story. Jeremy proved that what wins in the marketplace isn't the gear you hold, it's the story you tell. So here's your challenge this week. First, master your hardware. Pull out the manual, really study it. Try features you've never used. Maybe run drills, low light setups, windy exteriors, and mixed lighting. Practice until you can solve problems fast. So when a director like me throws a challenge, you can step up with confidence. Second, sharpen your creative software. Story map before you shoot, edit with intention. Try cutting the same piece 3 different ways and feel how the rhythm changes. Push yourself to get better sound bites in interviews. And here's the third challenge: simplify. This week, shoot a short story with the simplest setup you own. One camera, one lens, natural light, no excuses, just story. You'll be surprised at how creativity rises when limits are in place. Because at the end of the day, clients don't hire a camera, they hire a storyteller who knows their instrument and can bring a project to life. Story hardware gives you the instrument. Creative software makes you the player. But the story is what brings it to life. And that's what audiences and clients will remember. If you really want to sharpen your creative software, check out my book. You really got to see this. And my master course, Start with Story, End with Wow. They'll help you move beyond chasing gear and start focusing on telling stories that connect, inspire, and elevate your work. Gear will always change. There will always be a shinier camera, a brighter light, a sharper lens. But what doesn't change is this: stories told well will always win. So don't just collect hardware, master the software of storytelling, and you'll always have what it takes to bring your work to life. Thanks for watching.